Hey, what's up guys? This is 9Lives coming at you with another video, and we just found out about 16 new weapons coming to Call of Duty World War II. Let's get into it.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! He hit that! Oh my god! Remember your training.
16 new weapons coming to Call of Duty World War II. This is not coming directly from Sledgehammer Games or Activision. This is actually coming from an anonymous leaker on Reddit, and it looks like the information was all data mined from the game. So usually when this happens, it's the result of Sledgehammer Games putting out an update that adds a bunch of new content to the game that is hidden, but certain people are able to pick those new files out of the game when they're not supposed to. And that's how we have this info. Even though this information is from a leaker and not directly from Sledgehammer Games or Activision, I'm quite confident that all this information is going to be accurate because the leaker provided screenshots of each of the in-game assets that they've seen put into the game. You know when you open a supply drop and the 3 cards come up and it shows you what you've got? Those are the images that have been given to us, that have been basically data mined out of the game through the latest update and presented to us by this anonymous leaker. Those are the images, so the same images that show up on the cards that come out of the supply drop. Almost all of the 16 new weapons have 4 different variants, so they look a little bit different. They have a little bit of a different trim, a little bit of a different color scheme, a little bit of extra details to kind of differentiate them, and they all look really awesome. The only problem is I can't show them to you on screen in this video, so what I've done is I've had my graphic designer friend recreate what the coolest looking Arisaka variant looks like. That's it right there, as you saw on the thumbnail. So it's an Arisaka. That's the Japanese sniper rifle that we last saw in Call of Duty World at War. I'm someone who basically exclusively snipes when they play Call of Duty. I really don't use the regular guns that much, like the SMGs and the assault rifles. I pretty much only snipe, and if you're a subscriber of mine, of course you know that. But as someone who basically only snipes, the Arisaka is actually one of my favorite sniper rifles of all time. I loved it when we last saw it in Call of Duty World at War, and I can't wait to hopefully get my hands on it for Call of Duty World War II. So we do have screenshots for the 3 other variants coming to Call of Duty World War II on the Arisaka sniper rifle. One of them is kind of a military green color with a light wood pattern and some gold trim. One of them is a kind of cross-hatched weaved wooden pattern with a silver trim, and one of them is kind of a black and gold theme. So the red and white one is definitely the most vibrant out of the 4 variants for the new Arisaka sniper rifle, the one that we decided to go with for the thumbnail. And remember, it's not an exact replica, it's just to give you an idea of the look, because if we showed the actual in-game asset in this video, Activision would definitely get upset about that and they'd probably take down the video. So that's why we're going with a thumbnail that's kind of inspired by the actual thing, but not really. I think what actually might be interesting is if you favorite this video and then come back to it in a couple days once we actually have our hand on the actual new Arisaka sniper rifle in the game and we get that variant, and then you can compare, how does our version compare to the real deal? Because I think it's pretty damn close. But we actually haven't seen an Arisaka in hand yet. Nobody has seen that. All we've seen is the supply drop image. The image that shows up on the supply drop on the card when you open the supply drop and you get the 3 cards. That's what we were working with. So if you're watching this from the future, you could leave a comment down below letting us know how we did. But anyways, let's talk about the other 15 weapons that are being added to the game. So first off, we've got the Gewehr 43. This is a very famous semi-automatic German rifle. It's a returning weapon from Call of Duty World at War, and this time around it has 4 variants. So the first variant is a lighter grain of wood with kind of a matte finish on the metal parts. The metal parts are kind of like a greenish or a grayish color, and there's a little bit of gold trim to finish it off. There's another variant with a darker type of wood, and there's a little bit of etching on the golden metal bits on the gun. Looks pretty cool. There's also a black wood, like a kind of a black laminated wood pattern for one of the variants with a gold trim once again. And there's a really interesting one that's kind of like a brown or maybe like a brass type of pattern. And it has some riveting in it and a little bit of gray accents as well. Overall, these variants are pretty exciting looking. I think they have a little bit more of an oomph to them compared to the ones that launched initially with the game. The next new weapon that we have is the Japanese Type 5. That's another semi-auto rifle, comparable to probably the Gewehr, I would think. It doesn't have any variants available yet, but it could be that they just haven't added them to the game files yet, and there's been nothing there to data mine, but maybe they'll be in the full game. So that's another, again, a Japanese rifle. A new submachine gun was also found in the game files. It's the Italian Beretta 38, which was used by the Germans in World War II. We have two variants for this gun in the game files right now. They both have a pretty plain looking wood grain, but each of them has a little bit of a different styling to them. Another new SMG that has been leaked is the Sten. So the Sten has some of the most insane variants, to be honest. There's one that is like kind of a green military type of color, similar to some of the variants that are already in the game. But then there's one with a really kind of deep engraved pattern in the side of the wood. And there's also one that has like a really clear kind of a striping pattern to it. Probably about 5 or 6 white stripes on a black base, so like a black laminate base. Looks really, really cool. Has gold trim to it as well. And there's another variant that has kind of like a gray color with kind of like a orangish or kind of tan accents to it. Also really cool. This gun has some of the cooler variants for sure. There's also the Beretta 30 light machine gun. This is another gun manufactured by the Italians and used by the Germans. I know I just said that the last gun I was talking about has some pretty insane variants, but this one actually might take the cake. I know it's an LMG. LMGs aren't that exciting. They're not that popular. But the variants for this thing are pretty insane. There's kind of like a brushed steel looking one. There's like a silver looking one with a really cool pattern to it. The whole thing's silver with like an etched pattern, or it might be like a raised pattern. It looks insane. There's a black and gold one, like black metal with gold trim. Also looks nuts. And there's one more that's kind of like a tan color. Man, this one does look really cool. I'll probably never use it because I don't use LMGs, but that's a damn nice looking gun. Okay, moving on. Next one we've got here is the M1919. That's the more technical name for the Browning machine gun that we saw back in Call of Duty World at War. And I keep on referencing when guns are from World at War. I know a lot of you guys probably never played World at War. That was back in 2008. I played it. I love that game. That was my favorite Call of Duty game ever. But basically, back in World at War, the Browning LMG was the most powerful LMG in the game. Of course, I hope they're careful with it and they balance it correctly here in Call of Duty World War II, because if we have the most powerful LMG coming out of a supply drop in this game, that might be questionable. But right now the LMGs are kind of irrelevant anyways. Nobody really uses them, so I guess it wouldn't be that bad, but still, I don't think it'd be right for the best LMG to be coming out of a supply drop. So hopefully they can balance it okay. But I'm just saying, in Call of Duty World at War, it was the best LMG. We don't have any information about variants on this one yet, but you could probably assume that there will be variants for this. They just haven't added them to the game files yet, so we have no info. The next weapon that we have here is the MG81. That's a German machine gun. It's a belt-fed machine gun. It's pretty nuts. Also going to be interesting to see how they balance that one. But for now, let's just wait and see how it turns out. Again, right now, the machine guns aren't really that relevant in the game's meta, but some of these guns, they seem like they'll be pretty powerful. This one does have some of the variants available to check out. So there's 3 variants at the moment. One of them is kind of a variant that has an exposed side to it, and you can see a spring in there. So you can, maybe it'll be kind of animated when you use it. Maybe the spring will move around a little bit. It looks pretty cool. There's another one that looks just like insane. It just kind of looks like the BFG from Doom, if you're familiar with that. It stands for Big Effing Gun. It looks pretty nuts. There's also another one that's kind of slimmed down. So there's not too much on them in the way of patterns, but they just have way different styling to them, like a bunch of different extra bits and stuff. Almost look like completely different guns, the different versions of the MG81. That's a German machine gun. The Browning, if you're unfamiliar, the Browning is an American machine gun. Moving on, we've got the Winchester 94 lever action. That's an American hunting rifle. There's no variants or anything for that at the moment, so we'll just move on to the next one. That is the Enfield number 2. So the Enfield number 2 is a revolver. That's a pistol. And it looks pretty cool. Right now, the pistol selection in the game is pretty weak. There's only 3 pistols in the game, I think, so I'm sure we're all welcoming more pistol options. In other games, though, the revolvers are quite popular. A lot of the times in previous Call of Duty games, people would run the revolvers over the regular pistols. No variants available for this one yet, but on the Reddit post, the anonymous author mentioned that you can find this weapon in the game already in the campaign mission called the Hill 493. The next new weapon that we have here is the Walther P38. That's another gun that's returning from Call of Duty World at War. It's a pistol, And definitely pistol options are welcome because we don't really have many pistols in the game right now. There's another revolver coming to the game. This is called the Reichs revolver. So this is from the Germans. Looks kind of similar to the other revolver, has a little bit of a longer barrel to it, it looks like. No variants available yet for this one either. The next 3 weapons are all melee weapons. So we've got an ice pick, which is basically what you'd expect it to look like. It looks like a pickaxe. There's 4 variants for that, but none of them really look that exciting. There's also a combat knife, which is kind of interesting. There's 1 variant for it. The variant itself isn't anything too crazy, but what looks really crazy actually is the trench knife. Now, the trench knife has me a little bit excited because the variants actually look just nuts. Like, they look insane. It reminds me of the knives in CSGO. So one of them is like a black and gold trim kind of knife. Another one here is a pretty bright blue color with a bit of a red trim to it. There's another one that is a wood grain pattern with a copper kind of trim to it. And there's another one that is just kind of like a stainless steel kind of look with some spikes on it, but they all have brass knuckles as part of the trench knife. So they all look, man, just absolutely insane. It really does remind me of something out of CSGO. So if I had to guess, I would say that all these 16 new weapons are probably coming to the game on the 21st of this month. That's when they're going to be adding the COD points to the game. They were initially going to add the COD points to the game earlier than the 21st, but they pushed them back because of some I guess issues with the game. They wanted to delay it and make sure they worked out some of the issues with the game, and then they could release COD points and supply drop updates. So it's going to be interesting. There's also 3 new types of supply drop. So there's a legendary supply drop, epic supply drop, and a weapon supply drop being added to the game. We have screenshots of that as well. And yeah, it's probably all going to be here on the 21st of November. So if you want to stay up to date with more early information like this as it comes out, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. You can also turn on notifications so that it sends a push notification to your phone and a little alert when you log into YouTube to let you know that I've uploaded a new video. If you want to stay up to date with all the latest news, remember I focus mostly on sniper stuff because I pretty much only snipe when I play Call of Duty. So there's other videos linked on the screen now if you want to see more videos of me sniping or more sniper related content. The link to the original Reddit post will be in the description if you're interested in checking that out. Please take 2 seconds to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you soon with a new video. Peace.